with a virtual bouquet. Now I hand over the mic to Kulkarni sir. Sir,
Okay.
please continue.
Yeah, thank you, madam. You'll be coordinating from the other end for audio and video. If any issues are there, you will inform me, right? And I'll proceed.
Yes, sir.
I'll share my screen. Madam, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Right. Audio and video, everything is all right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll proceed. Today's webinar, it is on attainment of course outcome, program outcome, and continuous improvement. Right? See, yesterday we have seen the entire OBE framework. We have seen the engineering education issues and all OBE philosophy, right? And gone through program educational objectives, right? Then program outcomes, and I gave an example of for every program outcome, right, how exactly you have to perceive this while writing course outcome, CO2 PO mapping, and classroom session, including that, right? Made you to go through understand that program specific outcome that we have seen it also, right? This will be the subset of the program outcome, and domain specific characterization, whatever that you wish to establish as an attribute of a graduate special to your program that you will be putting into this, right? And this is where exactly we are stopped, right? And today topic is very important thing about the attainment of course outcome, program outcome, and continuous improvement, right? So I hope that all participants are comfortable. Please put your queries when as and when you come across that one in chat box, and so that coordinator will read that one, and I will answer to your questions, right? Madam, is it all right? So shall we begin now today's topic?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Right, that's good, right? So it is a attainment of COs and POs. That's the point number 2 and 3, right? But let me, for 2 minutes, okay, let me share with you the point number 1, writing course outcome also, right? This. So when you write a course outcome, these are all the templates that we have prepared, which we can use it for the training program, okay, training program and all, right? How do we write a course outcome? This is the skeleton which we have created in our institution. Every CO, we map it to write a program outcome at level 3, level 2, level 1. Course articulation matrix, we restructured it so that it can fit into one A4 size sheet, right? That's all each institution they do. But what is important is, right, you people know about the Bloom's taxonomy, right? Critical thinking levels. Yesterday I was referring how people do blind hugging with the Bloom's taxonomy. For example, look at criteria, level number 6, right? An ability to creatively or uniquely apply prior knowledge. Create, the moment I use in my question paper the term create, it is not necessary at level number 6, right? So as long as, okay, the activity doesn't produce the new information or new procedure or original thought, then it cannot be called as level 6, though we use create in our question paper. Simple example is create a database, right, in third normal form for the given business requirement. So we use the term create, is the English term create, right? But really we are not creating any new knowledge out of that, right? So it cannot be called as a create level. This is one very important thing we need to understand, right? Then another thing is we frequently use explain, right? When we use explain, it is not at level 2, not necessarily, right? What you explain, that will decide the whether which level the critical thinking learning is happening, not the term simply and explain. Simple example is, my question goes like this: explain the research experimentation and research experimentation carried out and the inference drawn. So this is at level 6, you are creating a new knowledge. But the term explain, okay, what you explain you need to look into, right? Any question at this stage? This is the majority of the people try to misunderstand this, right? Chaudhary madam, any question at this stage?
No, sir.
Okay, that's it. Right. Now, the another question is, how do we write a course outcome? I'll explain this and then I'll go to the actual topic. Right. So when you write a course outcome, yesterday I was talking about that, you should know the program outcome very clearly. And for a given program outcome, when you select a particular course to be added at particular semester level, knowing program outcome, that is an attribute of graduate attributes, will help you to write a course outcome. Right? Then what is the procedure? The procedure, it goes like this. Step number 1 is determine the purpose of teaching this course. So why do you teach this course? The second one that's very important is, okay, at what level you teach. What all the unique contribution this course do for students' learning experience. Right? Then step number 3 is, right, what you expect a student to know, certain theories, concepts, models, and what you expect a student to do, right, to know and to be able to do. These are the two important pillars for writing course outcome, right? Then people say that one. Step number 5, narrow down the list. It may be 20, 30 initially, narrow down so that it can be at the reasonable number. NBA says around 6. The Texas School of Planning, Texas Technical University, which I refer, yesterday I was sharing with you, right? It says that one, okay, 8 to 10, around 10 is all right, it says, right? In my institution, right, we use between 5 to 10, right, course outcome. So this is an understanding of a course outcome, which we use it for training purpose and all. See, and then mapping CO to PO. We map every CO to one or more PO here at level 3 to 1. The meaning of the level 3 to 1 is, right, you know, NBA has said, but it doesn't explain about that. Level 3 is industry readiness. Level 1 is introductory, and level 2 is in between. So when you are preparing the student for a given CO at industry readiness, then only you can map at level 3. Otherwise, mapping doesn't make sense. So what is the industry readiness? Industry readiness in terms of large scale, in terms of complexity, in terms of tools, procedures, standards used, right? Then if these things are there, one or more of that, right, as a key performance indicator, then we call it is at level 3, otherwise not. Right? Is that clear? Right. So with this understanding of CO, critical thinking levels, right, and procedure of writing course outcome, we will get into the attainment of an outcome, the topic which, okay, we are interested, right? So let me take you to the measurement of course outcome or attainment of course outcome. How do we do it? Right? I have a case study here. I have a case study that I wanted you, right? See, look at that. For the simplicity, right, I assume that in a class there are 4 students, S1, S2, S3, and S4, right? And assume that there are, okay, only 5 course outcomes. And assume that in the entire semester we have got only 2 tests. And total questions in each question is 2, and all are compulsory. This is an assumption for understanding how do we measure attainment of an outcome, right? Is that clear or any doubt here? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now assume that this is the data that is given. You have conducted a test 1 and test 2. The 4 student, whatever the marks they have scored, it is given here. Please assume that. Look at student number 1. right, this student, right, has taken admission and remain absconding, right, has remained absconding, right. Then look at the student number 2. The marks is 6, 10, 8, 2, 8, 7, 8, 0, something like that. Similarly, student number 3, student number 4, some data has been given. You need to assume that and you need to proceed, right? Thus, is that clear? Now, for this set of data, how do we calculate attainment of an outcome? We'll look into that. Any question for the data on which we are working? I'll demonstrate that and I'll ask you to compute something. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now look into this. Right. When you wanted to measure before the semester begins, right, you establish target. Right. The target, they are being leveled, they are being labeled as L3, L2, L1. Right. Now here there are two parts of that targets. One is, target is being expressed as percentage of student reaching set percentage of marks. And this set percentage of marks, we refer it as a benchmark. Right? Now look at that. Level 3, I'll say in my class, 80% of the student, 80 or more percentage of student, if they get 70 or more marks for a given course outcome, then in that case, I refer it as level 3. These are all customizable. You can set it. Level 2, 70% of the student getting set percentage of marks 70. Benchmark is common. Level 1 is 60% of the student getting the benchmark, whatever that is being set. Right? Otherwise, we'll say that it is not attained. Right? This is similar to the target that the LIC agent they take. They say that 1 crore this year, 2 crore, something like that. So in my class, right, I need to set these targets before the semester begins. Right, I have to make it open, known to all people. Right, then conduct the semester activity. Use different assessment tool. Right, conduct examinations. Right, based on the marks, whatever that we have, the evaluation is to be done. And for every CO, I need to tell at what level I stand in my class. Right, this is how we do. And ideally, right, all these are to be set before the semester begins, and they may be different for different courses. Right, depending on the complexity of the course, right, you may vary. Right. So any question for describing the target and the benchmark here? Are you clear on this?
Sir, there is a question from participant. The
Right.
benchmark can be changed as per the difficulty level of the subject. But you just said that, yes, we can do it.
Yeah, we can do.
But
Yeah.
one more thing, that marks we can vary, like 70, as you said, or a percentage of the students, like 70% to 80% are students. What we can vary, or both we can vary?
Both we can change. Both we can change.
There is any minimum, maximum for that?
See, again, it all depends on the brand of the institution, right? For example, benchmark. Okay, if at all you go the benchmark less than 60%, right? Assume that you have a question of, 100 marks, examination you have conducted. If anybody score less than 60, we don't say that one it is a good candidate, right? 60 and above, then we feel, oh, something reasonable quality has been achieved. So going to the benchmark less than 60, I don't advise. I don't advise. Right? Anybody getting less than 60% of marks, it is not an healthy, it is not a good, right, brand for the student. Similarly here also. But number of student whom I'm targeting for the level 1, 2, 3, that you can vary based on the difficulty of that question paper, I mean, difficulty of the course. If the course is very difficult, then I can set that one. L1 is 50%, L2 is 55%, L3 is 60%. I can set it because course is very difficult. If the course is very, very easy, then my L1 could be, right, 80%, L2 could be 85%, then L3 could be 90%. Right? Benchmark also you can vary. Benchmark you can set as a 50%, 55%, 60, 65, 70, 75. Depends on, okay, what kind of quality level you wanted to carry on your shoulder. There is nothing, okay, set as a standard that you should not go below this. Decide, okay, what kind of brand you wanted to carry for your institution. Ideally speaking, whatever I have given here, that sounds very good. Or worst case, you can lower that benchmark to 60%, but not below that. This is my personal opinion. Any reason for that? Anything less than 60% is not counted at all. Right? In a society, if any student says that one, I got 55% marks, people look that as if that person has not done anything. But people say 60%, oh, okay, you are first class. Right? So that is what is the mindset with which we proceed. And this mindset may vary, right, from time to time, because this is my 31st year of teaching. I got 31 years of experience. Right? But when I was studying, one of my friends from mechanical engineering, he was a topper to the university. And the percentage of marks he got was 55%. I mean, the environment, the rigor, the toughness there was different. Are you getting this? So based on, there are many factors that will influence in establishing target and benchmark. So you need to decide, right, today, what is the right benchmark. Now, if you look at the 12th standard, if you look at the many things, results and all, right, everyone will get 90, 95, 96 and all. At that place, in that, okay, in that particular context, setting less 50% benchmark doesn't sound good. Right? So you need to look at the local parameters, local conditions, and also at the global level, will it be okay? I don't advocate anything less than 60% benchmark, right? Ideally, right, between 60 to 70 to begin with. First time, if at all you are doing 60% is all right, but but you need to increase little bit every year as an improvement, right, in your academics. So any question here?
So,
Yes,
sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Well,
Sir, I have one question. Sir, our college is affiliated to Pune University, so it's not autonomous.
true.
I just wanted to ask, all this benchmark should be decided individually by individual teacher, or it should be set uniformly to the institute?
No. I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, when you don't have a grip on all these things, initially, okay, if you are doing, set it common to all people. All people. So when you are matured in outcome-based education, playing around that, you can give a freedom to the department. In department also, it can be common. But later, what you can do is, you can give the freedom of this one to individual teacher. That is correct. Because based on the nature of the course, based on the difficultiness of that particular course, the benchmark and the target levels, definition of the target, you can vary. For example, I'll tell you, assume that I'm taking engineering management. Very theoretical thing, very simple to score. Right? In that case, what I'll do is, right, my levels I redefine, right? 70, 80, 90. And benchmark is 75 or 80. Because it's very simple. And assume that there is some very complex mathematical oriented courses there. In that case, getting 70% is difficult, we know. At university level, at college level, maybe at our peer institution, right? Then what I can do is, instead of setting benchmark as 60 or 70, I go for 60. Or if the situation demands, I don't hesitate to go below 60, but there has to be justification. And people who come for the audit, they should agree. I can even set 50 also, benchmark. because it's the most difficult subject. Scoring becomes difficult, right?
Sir,
And
and
even,
whatever, yes, sir,
and
yes, sir.
even left hand side, number of students who will be reaching to that benchmark, that also I can lower it based on the difficultiness of the course. So freedom is to be given for the course teacher, right? But initially in the department level, go with a common thing, go with a reasonable level, right? 60, 65, 70, you can get into L1, L2, L3, and benchmark can be 60% to begin with the journey. Then over a period of time, you keep on increasing that. Make it common to all courses initially. Maybe after 1 year, after getting a grip and all, what you can do is individual teachers, you can ask them to set it, but that setting is to be done before the semester begins, and approval is to be given by the head of the department or the committee. Then only let them get into, so that that kind of control you have it. Otherwise people will set okay, a different thing, then managing becomes difficult, or explaining giving a justification for the auditing team becomes difficult, right?
Yes,
I think I've
thank you,
answered
sir.
your question. I've answered your question. Any
Yes,
question
yes.
other than this, please, at this level, please. Any
Sir,
other question?
there are more questions.
Please.
Participant has asked that on what parameter we can set the benchmark apart from the difficulty of the course.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you, this benchmark, okay, thus based on the difficultiness of the course, that is the only answer. If it is a more difficult, the results, right, in my institution, in the university, it will be very less, right? And you can look into the past 3 years or past 5 years, how students are performing at the university level, the institute level, my peer institution and all, and you have to look into that. Sometimes you can take an average, sometimes you can take a class average also, right? And you as a teacher, an expert in that, right, definitely you can identify, right, what is a benchmark, right? You can take a university average of last 3 years. Your institution average, you can take it, right? Passing percentage, you can take it. That itself can be a benchmark you can set, right? This. I think I answered this question.
Okay. So next question. They are asking what should be the increment level in percentage for benchmark for the next cycle of accreditation.
True, right, true, right? But I'll tell you, this improvement can be seen at different levels, not necessarily number, right? First thing is, okay, let me take you to the course outcome, right? My improvement next time will be, right, the improvement in CO to PO mapping could be, I map the CO number 1 to PO number 1 at moderate level. I can increase that to the substantial level. This is the one level, I mean, this is the topic altogether different. Writing course outcome and mapping is not the scope of today's session, but I'm just, again, mixing that one with here. So next year, what I can do is I can keep the target same, but I can increase, right, the level of mapping. CO to PO mapping I can increase. This is one level of improvement I can show it. The other level of improvement is I can increase only the benchmark. Second level of improvement. Third level of improvement, I can, keeping benchmark same, I can increase the left-hand side percentage. The number of students in a class, percentage of student reaching, I can increase. 60, 70, 80, rather than that, I can make 65, 75, 85. Right? There's a third improvement I can show. The fourth improvement is both left-hand side and right-hand side, both benchmark and percentage of student in my class reaching the benchmark, both I can increase simultaneously. Right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question.
Please.
Is reaching set of percentage of marks is vary subject to subject?
Yeah, it may vary. That's what I said. This may be different for different course. That's what I said. The course teacher has to take a call. How difficult is that? Difficulty my student face in my department. Okay, student face in the university. Student face the difficultiness in the peer institution, etc. That generic knowledge a teacher should have it, right? And based on that, and also you can look into the result, the last 3 years result in my course. Accordingly, my course benchmark will be different, and other course benchmark may be different, right?
Okay, sir.
Did I answer your question, madam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
Sir, I'm not getting this question, but they have asked that can we decrease the benchmark if not achievable?
No.
Actually, I'm not getting this question because before starting the course, we are going to set. So how we will set which is not achievable? So I'm doubtful regarding this question. Please
Okay,
answer.
I'll tell you. See, what is the passing percentage in your university? When the university will say that a candidate is passed a given course, what is the percentage marks they have to get it?
40.
40, right? If I set my benchmark 40, it doesn't make a sense at all today. Out of 100, only 40 marks, if they get it, you declare that one, the candidate has got all the ability you have defined? No, no, no. That 40% of marks set by the university is all politically motivated. It is true in every university. Because different types of student will take admissions, right? To take care of all these things, right? Their objectives are different. We don't want to debate on that. But in my institution, this is nothing to do with pass or fail. It is something to do with learning levels. Outcome-based education speaks about, can the student do this? If they're supposed to design the structure for the bridge, and in that paper, if the student get 40% of the marks, will you employ that student as an engineer in your construction company? Madam, it is just a discussion. It is just a discussion. Madam, can you tell me yes or no?
This question was asked by me that can we decrease the benchmark what we have set up initially at the beginning of the academic year or the semester. So initially you said that we can set the benchmark if you are not thought about the subject, new to the subject, we can set the benchmark for all the subjects same. Okay. Now after 2-3 years of study, we come to know that that benchmark which we have set earlier was not achievable for specific course. So
No.
in that context, I have said that can we decrease the benchmark in that case?
No. While setting the first year, the benchmark, okay, the course teacher or the department has to make a thorough study of that. Once you set it, a benchmark, please ensure that, okay, maybe every year or maybe an alternate year, you keep on increasing that. Okay, that's why a journey can begin with 60% benchmark. Right? Anything less than 60% in engineering college doesn't make a sense at all. However difficult is that subject or any course. Less than 60% today, second class, nobody looks at them. Okay, begin with minimum first class marks. So 60%, begin with that. Maybe you keep 60% for 1 or 2 years. Why do you set, okay, higher value and then come to the lower things? Right? So once you set a benchmark, see that every year by year, either it remains at the same thing or increases that. And whenever, okay, you don't achieve that one, right, probably you have to okay, put an effort, make a student to learn better rather than decreasing benchmark. Decreasing is not, okay, it is illogical, incorrect, right, not a healthy things. It has to keep on increasing or remain at the same place, right? Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. So best thing what I suggest is set 60% of the benchmark, right? And this left hand side number of students, you know, that what you can set is 60, 65, 70. Set it initially first year. Then look into that and keep on increasing that in the second cycle or second year, third year and all, right? It's up to you. Right, anything else?
But sir, it depends upon student quality also. Now, whenever we are, because we are a teacher and we know that subject. And I have said according to previously last year data, whatever we have discussed by taking average or something. But the
True.
new batch to whom I am teaching, I don't know those students. So if I am not able to achieve that particular level, so in
Uh,
that case, what should I do?
Yeah, in that case, okay, what you have to do is next time you are not supposed to alter the benchmark. Okay, alter the different strategies where because of which student can learn better, and that's what we call it as an action plan. Right?
Oh,
We need to, if at all we cannot attain that one, what all the remedial things that we need to get into, that we have to design, and that's what NBA is interested in.
okay, sir.
Right?
Sir, one more question is there.
Please.
If target level attained is L0, what steps should be taken?
That's what I'm okay. Wait for that. Okay, I'll tell you about the action plan. Please wait for that. Okay, wait for that. Okay, there are
Okay.
different action plan you need to take so that people can learn better, so that you can attain. Right? Please wait for that. Right? I'll
Yes,
be
sir. Yes, sir.
explaining about that. Okay. Now, is it okay? The target and benchmark is okay because now I'm getting into the formula which we have established. And there are very simple formula. I've seen that at many places people make unnecessary complicated okay, things, weightage, this percentage in the internal exam, that percentage in this one, 20%, 50%, lot of complex things they do. Right? Ours is the best and simple approach, which I'm going to share with you. Right? Before I go to the procedure for calculating attainment, is the benchmark and the target, okay, its meaning is understood or not? If everything is okay, I'll proceed to the next one.
Yes, sir. Proceed, proceed.
Right. Now, when you want to calculate attainment of course outcome, right, the two-step procedure we follow, right? The step number one, which we have established, right, is for every student, for every CO, you have to do it. So for every student, for every CO, what you are doing is you calculate the percentage of marks they got, right, as shown below, right? Now look at that. For each student, for each CO, you calculate X, that is the percentage of marks they got it. That is total marks scored by this student divided by total marks attempted by this student into 100. We take attempted here because there are many options in the question paper, right? This is a diluted version. And the attempted, if you remove it, that is the strongest version of calculating the things, right? In that case, all questions should be compulsory, right, in question paper. So we calculate for each CO, for each student, right, the percentage of marks they got it, that is X. And if X is greater or equal to benchmark set, then we put the tick mark. Otherwise, we put a cross mark. Now tell me, is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Right? Right. Then
Yes,
what
sir.
we do, yeah, then what we'll do is I'll show one few examples here. Right. Now look at that. This is an example which will give to you, right? S1, student S1. Look at the student S1, right? The student S1 has taken admission and remain absconding, did not appear for any exam at all. And my question to you all people is that did he got the capability, okay, defined as per the course outcome 1 to 5? No. And there is no computation for him because there is nothing to compute. So what I do is, this is the simplest case. I've taken all cases. Look, right? So I'll put a cross mark. Marks attained or mark attained or not. He has not attained. Simple. This is by default, no computation is required. Now I will show you for other people. Look at the student S2. His S1 is okay.
Yes, sir.
And this student has not appeared for exam even then because, right, I'll tell you, right? I'll tell you later in the next step.
Sir, what
No.
is the difference between that dash and X?
Yeah,
Cross.
I'll tell you. Because there is no computation for this. X is cross mark. Mark attained or not. Attained is tick mark. Not attained is cross mark. Benchmark. Then If X is greater or equal to benchmark set, then tick mark is being put, indicating that this student has attained this CO. Cross mark indicates that not attained. And the student S1 is not attained because no computation at all for them. No marks, no computation. This is one of the case, worst case. I'll go to S2, then there will be clarity. Okay? Madam? Chaudhary Madam? Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now look at the S2. Okay, please try to focus. S2 and CO1. That's all I focus. In all exam, it is a cumulative. Right? S2 and CO1. See here. S2, CO1. Where all the CO1 is there? CO1 is here. CO1 is here. That's all. S2, where all he got the marks? 6 out of 10 marks. Please look into that. Then 8 out of 10 marks. So there are totally 20 marks out of that. Sorry, 2 out of 10 marks. So totally the student S2 got 6 plus 2 out of 20 marks for CO1 in all exam. In all exam. Cumulative. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So 6 plus 2 divided by 20. Look at that. 6 plus 2 divided by 20. How much? 40%. Right? How did we calculate? Total marks scored by the student, 6 plus 2. Total marks attempted by the student, 10 plus 10, maximum marks. So 8 divided by 20 into 100 is 40. 40%. Is it greater than benchmark set? What is benchmark? 70%? No.
No, sir.
No. Then we put the cross mark here. See here. Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Right? Now I will take CO2 and I wanted the participant to compute for CO3 and 4, 3, 4, 5 on their own on the paper. I'll give a time. Right. Now look at the CO2. S2, student S2 and CO2. Let's get into that. Student S2, row number 2. CO2, where all CO2 is there? Right? Let me put the 1 minute. I'll take some tool and I'll use it. Just a minute. Just a minute. I have some tool. I'll use it. Yeah. Madam, is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now look into that. I'll be using the marking. Right? It is CO2. It is CO2. Just a minute. I got a call. Meeting. Right. Now look at that. I'm talking about the S2 student. Right? And I'm looking for CO2. CO2 is here. CO2 is here. In test 2, CO2 is there. That's all. And you can have any number of tests. For simplicity, I assume this. So how much the S2 has got? Here 10 marks out of 10. Here 8 marks out of 10. That is 18 marks out of 20. Then one more 8 marks out of 10. That is 10 plus 8, 18. 18 plus 8, 26. 26 out of 30. Am I right, madam?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Right. 26 out of, right here. 10 plus 8 plus 8 divided by 30. Right? So this is equal to 86%. Right? Is 86% here. Look at this. Greater than or equal to benchmark. Benchmark is 70. We got 86. Right? So we put the tick mark. So we put the tick mark here. Please check that one. Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? So this is how computation is being done. Simple. I'm taking test 1, test 2 together. You want to take only test 1, do it only test 1. You want to do it only test 2, do test 2. You want to do semester end exam, do only that. I'm talking about the procedure of computation. You want to do everything internal CIE plus SAE together, do together. Right? Please wait, I'll be showing you the report. When I show the report, I'll tell you, we compute CIE, we compute SAE separately, and we compute together also. And you report it. Any question at this stage? So
Yes, sir. There is one question from Ashwini ma'am.
please.
So she is asking how to apply this method to the college which are affiliated to university, as students' paper are not with us.
I'll tell you. Right. Now, affiliated institution, you have got internal examination 1, 2, 3 you conduct. Right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
For that, you can apply this procedure, internal CIE. Am I right?
Okay, sir.
Madam, okay, for affiliated institution, I'll be writing on the screen, look at that. CIE you can compute using this procedure. Am I right? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Right. Assume that you got 85%. I'm writing here. Assume that you got 85%. Right? This is for CO1 I'm talking. Assume. CO1 I'm talking here, 85%. Then you have a semester end exam, SCE, right? And conducted by university, and assume that passing percentage is, say, 70%. 70% in your course, right, in your institution. Then what I'll be doing is, I'll be taking the average of this by giving certain weightage. For example, what I do is, I'll give a weightage, say 90% weightage I give it for internal, right, and 10% I'll give it for this, right. What is the 90% at 85? Madam, can you please, somebody, can you work out precisely and let me know? Right? 0.9 into 85%, right? That is equal to 76.5. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
76.5, right? Plus, right? Okay, 10% of 70. Okay, that's
7.
very clear. 7.
7.
7, right? What I do is, I'll take this is equal to, right, how much? 80?
83.
83.5 will be taken. Yeah, right? This is how we do in case of an affiliated institution. Because in semester end exam of the university, you don't know the details of bitwise marks for every student. So passing percentage, you take it, and that itself is attainment of all COs. Remember, all COs. Are you clear?
Yes, sir. So, sir, there is one more question. This is related to written paper, but what about oral exams? Though we are autonomous college, but still we are taking oral of the students. So we don't have CO-wise marks in that case. So how we should do? Like the same?
No. Even oral exam also you have to have a CO-wise only. When you conduct an oral exam and give 20 marks out of 25, which capability you are testing? Which capability? Which course? Which oral exam? Which question? Every question you ask, okay, you have to give a marks for the CO based assessment.
Sir, but it is taken by the external. That's
right. Why. External, they come to your college, no?
Yes, sir.
You give them a rubrics. Okay, ask them to put the marks there also.
Okay.
You have to do it. And external examiner cannot say that one, I will not do it. Gentlemen, you have to do it, you have to say. Right? You have to say that. Right? Got it. Or in case you don't want, right, like a semester end exam, I told you, no, total marks you can use it as it is, passing percentage.
Okay, sir.
Any question at this stage?
there is one question.
Please.
Is it necessary to conduct all the CO individual tool? Sorry, it is necessary to conduct all the CO for individual tool.
Is it necessary to conduct all CO for individual?
For individual tool means for every individual student. Every CO and every.
Yes. This is done. Look at that. For every student, if there are 150 students, 150 such entries will be there. That's why Excel sheet. You need to build Excel sheet.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question is there.
Please.
But as per the procedure, 20% to the internal assessment and 80% to the end sem exam, because their college is, I think, affiliated to university. So the weightage has been already decided that 20% for internal and 80% for external.
Who has decided? Who has decided?
Yes, Maniroja ma'am.
Who has decided this? 20 and 80.
Hello.
Who has decided?
Just a minute.
We
Maniroja
received the
ma'am.
guideline. We received the guideline.
Who has given guideline? Who has given guideline?
It may be their college has decided such thing.
Okay,
No,
college.
no.
Who has given guideline? Is it college, university, MBA, AICTE? Who?
I think we got it through NBA when they gave for accreditation.
No.
They said
No,
since
NBA
the
doesn't
internal
give.
test mark is 20 marks is for internal test. You have to consider 20% and 80 marks for end sem exam. So you have to consider 80% of that. So we normally do this way only, 20% of internal.
Okay, NBA not said anywhere, right? But if you want to do it. Who stops you? Who
No,
stops
but it reduces, no, sir. It reduces. Actually, it brings down.
See, madam, look into that. Okay, I'll write it here one thing. I'll write it here.
So
Right?
one more is also writing. It is in SAR.
1 minute. No, they are giving an example. It is not that you are supposed to use that. For example, consider CI is there here, semester end exam is there here, right? A semester end exam. So here, okay, you are talking about that one. You want to give a 20% weightage for this, and this is 80%, right? You wanted to give. Okay, this if you want to give it. Who stops you? But what happens is, I'll tell you, when you calculate attainment of an outcome, here bitwise marks are not available. Then attainment calculation is wrong, inaccurate. Here you got the bitwise marks for every student. So, and if your question paper is good, you can give a more weightage. My question paper is good in CIE compared to university paper. And I know the bitwise marks. Here bitwise marks are not there. So what I will do is, I will use 80% of weightage for this, and probably 20% I'll give it for the university paper, because my paper is better than university paper, if it is so. So this weightage you need to decide based on comparing the question paper of your internal and university, right? Then you have to decide it, not otherwise. Not otherwise. And one more point is there, right? If it is only for 20 marks, right? If it is only final marks out of 100 is only 20, this is 80, then whatever you said is accordingly you can go. But in my case, what happens is we take 50 marks finally from this, and we add it to the out of 50, whatever semester and exam is there, we take it and we give it. If the marks are there more for semester and exam, you go for that. You go for 20/80. It's up to you. What weightage you give it, you should have a reason for that. Got it? Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So shall we go to the next topic?
Sir, there is one question. Vishal sir, you are asking? Vishal sir? Hello. Sir, there is a question. That is it necessary to include questions of all COs?
Is it necessary to include a question of all CO? Where? In question paper?
The same.
Where? Madam, where? Inclusion of all questions in where?
Question paper.
Which question paper?
Uh,
Semester end exam? Hello? Madam, you are not audible.
Hello, sir. The question is it necessary to include questions of all
Question-
CO while setting question paper with same weightage of all CO? I just read the message of the chat room.
Okay. Yes, yes. See, in semester end exam, which covers the entire syllabus, right? In that case, you have to include all COs in semester end exam. But there are some COs where you cannot write, you cannot have a written type of exam. In that case, that those COs will go into assignment only, right? It will not appear in the exam because you cannot have a written exam for them. It all depends on how your written course outcome. But ideally, all COs will appear in semester end exam, right? But weightage need not be same. Every CO, its a weightage need not be same. Depending on the volume of learning that happens for that CO, the marks will vary. Okay? Did I convince you or any further questions on this?
Sir, I have one question. Sir, I am totally agree with you that more weightage should be given to the internal assessment. But what happens, students do not seriously attempt internal examination as they know ultimately, I am talking about affiliated colleges which are affiliated to Pune University.
Mhm.
So students are not seriously
Hello.
attempting exam. Internal assessment.
madam,
So in that
okay.
case, what to do?
This weightage and all these things will be decided before the game begins. Right? Approved by head of the department, approved by the institution principal. Once the game begins, you have to ensure as a teacher, right, everything will go good. The student do not take this thing seriously and all. Such issues will not come into picture this at all here. At all here. Right? That should not be the point of discussions when deciding the weightage and all. The weightages are decided based on, right, how good is your question paper, how bad is others paper, semester and exam. What is the total marks finally get into marks from the internal exam? What is the total marks goes to the marks card from the semester and exam, right? This parameter you will take it to decide in fixing the weightage of CIE and weightage for semester and exam. Not student seriousness, they don't attend, they are very casual. That approaches are not part of this procedure at all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any question? Somebody was asking question. Was about to start talking, but stopped. Gents faculty, somebody was about to talk when we were answering this. So shall I proceed if there are no questions, Chaudhary madam?
Yes, sir. We can proceed.
Right. I wanted you people, right, for student S3, compute CO1 and CO2. Let's check it. I'll give 5 minutes time. Please do that. Only you do it for CO1, S3, CO1. Please do that. This one you please do it. For student S3, okay, CO1, you do it. Only CO1, you do it. Then all procedure will be same. You can quickly tell there is nothing to do much about that. Right? What is the percentage? Numerator, denominator, can you tell me? Is it attained? Is this attained?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how much? What is the percentage?
80%. 80%.
Look into that. Look into this. It is 8 plus 8 divided by 20. Hope you understand. 80%. You are putting it.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, all computation can be done. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So once this is done at the student level, you calculate at the class level. How do you calculate at the class level? Simple. Madam, in a class, there are 4 students. Out of that, 2 have attained here. Look at that. 2 have attained, 2 have not attained. So what is the attainment of this CO1 at class level?
50%.
2 divided by
50%.
4. 2 divided by 4. Correct?
50%.
Right. That's what y equal to total number of students attained this CO divided by total number of students registered this course into 100. Okay. 2 divided by 4 is 50%. What's the meaning of 50%, madam? Can you read what is the meaning of 50%? 50% of the student have got the marks greater
Above
than
benchmark.
benchmark marks.
Benchmark.
Right. So can you say that at what level it has been attained? If you look at our definition, at what level? 50% of the student getting 70% of marks. At what level? Not attained. L0.
Yes, yes.
L0.
Not attained.
Yeah. So 50% we say that is L0. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let's look at the L2. CO2, let's look into that. Right. CO2. Right. How many students have attained CO2? 3 out of
4.
3 divided by
75%.
4 into 100 is 75%. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
What's the meaning of that? 75% of the student got greater or equal to 70% of the marks. And according to our definition, it is at level 75% of the student getting greater or equal to 70% of the marks. At what level?
L3.
L2. So we write L2. Other things, you can see this. Other things will follow the same way. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, the most important thing is, right, having got this attainment in terms of percentage as well as level defined, what is the action plan to improve the performance? This action plan is to be purely written based on the observation by the course teacher. And you cannot say that when our student comes from the village, they know only local language, they cannot communicate in English, right? Our students are very poor, right? Students do not understand. This is not the action plan. This is not a reason. The reason could, action plan in terms of curriculum intervention, pedagogical initiatives, and support system improvements. Curriculum intervention. Maybe a student may find it very difficult to read the textbook because it is at the international level. You can recommend for the local book. You can recommend, prepare your own notes and give it to them. That could be an action plan. Right? Curriculum intervention. Right? The background. Right? For example, relation algebra. They are supposed to be strong before they take a particular course. They are very poor in that. Conduct a bridge course as an action plan. So they are studying theoretically, right? But if I can introduce a lab, that will be good. Support system for improvement, support system improvement, right? So what are pedagogical initiatives? What I will do is, okay, I will create a video of my session, give it to student, right? They'll go through that, right? And they come in the class. Then further I'll discuss like a flipped classroom. That is pedagogical initiatives. How to deliver it, right? Course project, pedagogical initiatives. How do teaching learning methodology related aspect as an action plan. Many places there is a common complaint that students, they don't understand PPT because majority of the teacher, they read PPT, right? They read PPT. Got it? So they don't understand. Ambience may not be good, backside your projection may not be seen visible clearly, and people, they don't complain to you because how to complain to the teacher? They may have a fear of the teacher. But learning is not good. The reason for their not learning good, you need to capture that it is your wisdom. Then you should do a corrective action for that. You cannot say that students are very poor, that's why attainment is low. Right? If a student come with a background of the village, they don't know the English language better, then before that giving admission to the your institution, conduct rigorous training of 2 months, 3 months on English language. Right? Nowadays there is a move at the national level, right? All technical learning should happen in local language. Sorry, it cannot happen until unless you develop everything in your own local language, right? China, Japan, they do it everything in their local language because they got only single language. How do you develop a technology in all Indian language? Very difficult. Okay, we further make them a useless technocrat because everything is in English. Right? No, these are all aspects that we need to look into. Bridge course, right? Introducing laboratory, introducing certain practice-based exercise so that they can have better learning. Though laboratory is not there, a course teacher can introduce laboratory exercises. So course outcome attainment and action plan, I've told you procedure. If you have any questions, let me know.
Sir, we are calculating this attainment. So it should be done whenever I'm going to conduct that particular test, right? So that I will be able to understand whether that benchmark has been achieved or not. And depending upon that, I can then change the ways or adopt some new technique to do that, right?
True. True. Say after internal exam 1, calculate this. After internal exam 2, IA2, separately you calculate. And together also calculate. Internal exam 3, separately you calculate. So you will come to know so that you can do the corrective actions within a semester and also across the semester. Depending on what action plan you suggest. Change in the textbook. That could be within a semester and across the semester also. Same batch, different batch, both. You are right, madam. Any question at this stage?
Yeah. Sir, there were 4 students total, but 1 student has absconded. He has not applied for any exam.
Your voice is low. You speak loudly. Little
Hello.
loudly.
Hello. Sir,
Huh.
there were 4 students, but 1 student was absconding.
Huh.
He has not applied for any exam.
Hmm.
If we consider such student, then
Yes,
this will
that's why I have highlighted that. Registered, because this is not a pass or fail, right? That the student who is absconding, he has got a capability to demonstrate the course outcome written? No. We are not asking the reason. Does he have got a capability? The answer is no. For that reason, all registered student you take it, not necessary only those who have appeared for exam. Right? Any questions?
Sir, participants are saying that please emphasize more on action plan.
Okay. Right. Now look at that. Here, the course outcome, our attainment is low. Right? What is the reason for this low? The reason for this low is probably their background on linear algebra may be very, very poor. You need to interact with the people. Why? Find out a reason. Why did they perform low in CO1? So if the linear algebra background, they are poor in that, then you have to conduct a bridge course before the semester, this course begins. This is one of the corrective actions. Or after the internal exam 1, you find that linear algebra people are poor, you conduct 3 or 4 days, right, crash course, and then bring them onto the track. Or there could be, right, the textbook they are not following it, then you give a notes action plan, or you suggest an alternate textbook, alternate book, so that they can read that and better understand that. Right? Yes. See, purely I can give a number of such example, but purely depends on your individual observation. Okay, what correction is required, that you have to take it. Any other thing? Otherwise, we'll move to the next one. Okay, program outcome attainment. One more is there, and we have got another 20 minutes left.
Sir, one more question.
Please.
We have completed at the end of the semester, and we are not able to achieve that particular benchmark. So there may be L0 or L1, whatever, and we have to write down the action plan. Now, due to that action plan, it is necessary to show that next time we are able to achieve that particular level.
True. You are perfectly right. Right? So the remaining question, if at all you have it, you can call to me separately. Right? Thus, right? But now I'll move to the next one. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. See, the last part is measurement of program outcome. Right? Thus, I will not write detail about CO to PO mapping. Consider that you are written a CO, and COs have been mapped to different PO at different right levels. Level 3 column is this. These are the number in this are indicate that they're all PO number, right? POs and all, right? Then the previous slide we are seeing that one attainment have been calculated both in percentage and levels, CO attainment, and benchmark has been set. Then, given this condition, how do we compute PO? CO to PO mapping is being done. Now look at that CO number 1. It has been mapped to, right, PO number 1, okay, PO number 5 here. Now look at that, okay, consider PO number 1. PO number 1 is mapped to here CO number 1 at level 3, CO number 2 at level 1, CO number 3 at level 1, level 3, CO number 4 at level 2, CO number 5 at level 2. Now I'm showing you only one PO, and similarly you have to calculate. These are the PO, this PO mapping to different COs, right? What all the CO is mapping? It is mapping, now look at that, right? The PO number 1 is mapping to CO1. CO1 attainment I need to look into. It is mapping to CO3 here at level 3. CO3 is here. This also I have to take. Then is mapping to 4 and 5 at level 2. 4 is there, 5 is there. It is mapping to CO2 at level 1. It is in fact is mapping to all CO. But the level at which it maps is different. Right? Level in the sense when you take a cement concrete, the stone, the sand, the cement, the water, there are different levels. The level substantial, moderate, right, and low, it speaks about that. If it is substantial, you have to take more quantity. While preparing a idli, right, you have udad dal, rava made up of rice, right, and salt. Salt low you put it, udad dal moderate level you put it, and rava from rice is more. When you mix up and take 1 unit, they are in the same proportionate of 3 to 1. Am I right, Chaudhary Madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Madam, I am very good in preparing idli.
Okay, sir.
Right. So when you take one quantity of that and put it in an idli stand, they are on the same proportionate 3 to 1. This is what we call weighted average. And we use the same formula, weighted average. 3 into whatever map it to level 3, 2 into all mapping at level 2, 1 into all mapping at level 1, divided by sum of the contributing weight. Is that clear, Chaudhary Madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we use this formula, right? Then for CO1, I'll show how to compute. CO1 sorry, PO number 1, how to compute, I'll show. Right? PO 1, I'll write it here. I'll write it here. 1 minute. Look into that. I'm doing it for PO1. I'm doing it for PO1. Similarly, how to do it. Right? All mapping at level 3. What all there at mapping this one at level 3? Okay, level 3. Yahan pe hai, this level 3, this is there. It's equivalent are CO3 and CO1. What's the value of CO1 and CO3? CO1 is here, CO3 is here. Okay, madam, 80 plus 95 divided by 2, how much?
175.
Right, 1 minute. 80 plus, 95 plus 80, right? I should have written, right? The average, effective, this thing, average, I have to take it. First, I'll write it and afterwards you tell me. This is rava, idli, okay, rice rava, right? Then weightage 2 into, right? We're all, right? This is udad dal. We're all at level 2, column number 2. It is a mapping here, 1 and 2. Their equivalent is CO number 4, CO number 5. CO number 4 is 75 and it is 76. You can compute the average of that. There are 2, that's why we take it divided by 2. 75 plus 76 divided by 2, right? Plus 1 into, where all it is mapping at level 1, only this. There is no other thing. So it's only CO2. Only CO2 is 60. So this is very simple. 60 divided by 1, average, like this. Divided by, all this divided by 3 plus 2 plus 1, weightage. Wherever in the numerator weightage is there, in denominator also that weight is to be considered. If a particular weight in the numerator is not there, assume that this entity is not there, then it means that I need to skip this in the denominator also. This is called weighted average. Cement concrete mix and idli mix. This is how it works. Is it okay, madam? Chaudhary madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Madam, you tell me now the value of that. 3 into, right? 3 into 80 plus 95 divided by 2. How much, madam?
Sir, it is 175 by 2.
175 divided by 2. How much?
It is 87.
Approximately. We'll take it as 87. Right?
0.5.
Point?
5.
Okay, 87.5. All right. 3 into 87.5 plus, you compute later that, 2 into, madam, 75 plus 76 divided by 2.
75.5.
75.5.
5.
Right, right, plus 1 into, that is 60, right?
Yes.
Right, 1 divided by 3 plus 2 plus 1, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, divided by 6. Now please, okay, 3 into 87.5, how much?
Sir, it is 283 something.
I request all the people participant to mute their mic. Madam, tell me how much?
Sir, I am getting is 283.
283. Okay, whatever it is. 283 plus 75.6 into 2.
Sir, sorry. I have made a mistake. I'll just do it again. Sir, it is 262.5 first.
1 minute. 262.5
5.
first. Right. Second one,
75.5 into 2. 151.
151. Right. Plus 60 divided by 6.
Yeah. Just a minute, sir.
How much?
I'll tell you. 151. Then 262.
Mute the mic. I request all the participants to
Yes,
mute their
it
mic.
is 473.5.
How much?
473.5
Divided by 6.
divided by 6 is 78.91.
78, okay,
Point 91.
0.91.
Yeah.
Right. This is, please participants mute their mic. Participant mute their mic. Right. This is an attainment of PO1. Right. Now, where exactly at what level it stands? 78.9 means at what level?
L2.
L2. This is the computation we do it. This is the computation we do it, and how this is the procedure we follow. And look at that. I have computed here and shown here. One example. Right? And with this, right, we go for reporting. So similarly, all the PO for which my course is mapping, I need to compute a CO attainment, PO attainment for my course. Through my course, what happens? Right? Then what we do is, then we report it. How do we build a report? Look at this. Right? Here, 1 minute. Name of the program, course teacher name, batch, which batch it belongs to. All attainments should go to the appropriate batch. Don't mix up. From first semester to 8th semester of all the batch should be at one place. Same set of students. Semester, course code, course title, number of student registered, student pass, percentage pass, S grade how many, A grade how many, your generic result analysis, benchmark you put it. Then CIE, all IAs and all IAs, internal exam, CIE. Percentage you write it, and level also you write it for all CO. Then semester and exam only, separately, only this. Write percentage and level. Then direct attainment through CIE and SE together. It is not average of these two, it is a cumulative. That you write it here. Right? Then after that, you write PO attainment also. PO number 1 attainment percentage level. Okay, CISE percentage and level. CIE percentage and level. Right? Similarly, you are doing for all. This is the report. Sorry, this is the report which we use in our institution, created by us. Right? So any question at this stage? And we have developed our own Excel sheet, can be used by all universities. Right? We have asked one of the local people here to develop that and give to us. If anybody is interested, you can talk to me. I'll connect it to that person. You can take it from there. Just for a nominal, very, very nominal of, okay, for 5,000 rupees, we have taken. Right? Where in that Excel sheet, feed the marks, get the attainment and use it. That's all. Right? So any question at this stage?
No, sir.
Participants, please, okay, if you have anything, right, look into this. So we have another 10 minutes time. The floor is open for the discussion. And Chaudhary Madam, I understand that 1:15 we need to stop now.
Yes, sir.
Right. So in my watch, we have got another 10 minutes, right? 5 minutes, right? If you have any questions, let me answer to that. So measurement, attainment of, okay, program outcome, program specific outcome, COs, POs, everything we have done it. If you have any questions, otherwise, finally we say that one, this is the framework with which we develop it. Work with that. Right? So do you have any questions? Otherwise, okay, we have come to the end of this particular right, session.
I think no question, sir. Sir, there is one question.
Now, please.
One participant is asking, in mapping, shall we improve the mapping by arranging seminar, webinar, etc.?
Everything is an assessment tool. Written type of exam, course project, right, seminar, right, anything and everything, they're all called assessment tool. They're called assessment tool. You can definitely use it. Anything else?
No, sir. Sir, there is one more question.
No,
Any
please.
standard method for mapping?
Mapping, right?
Huh?
CO to PO mapping is a different topic, right? It takes another 1 hour for that, right? We have developed our own theory. If anybody wanted that one, they can talk to me separately, because it takes at least another hour to speak about course CO to PO mapping. That's what I'm not highlighting that one. Okay, I'm assuming, right? That's what in my slide, if you look into that, right? I said that one, there is a mapping, assignment. Okay, there is a theory behind mapping, which are not shared, because there was an attainment of an outcome, right? So, any question?
No, sir.
Sir, I have a little query. Please correct me, sir, if it is not too much relevant. Sir, how to involve students in this process of calculation and attainment?
Students are not supposed to be involved in calculation. Students are involved in only in assessment tools. They are supposed to write an exam. That's the end of that.
Yes.
Right? Calculation and all, the institution should develop their own Excel sheet or a software, right? A full-fledged software, or a course teacher, a software, okay, I mean Excel sheet, okay, you have to develop it and feed the data and take all these results. We have done Excel sheet.
Yes, sir. But then at the same time, should they know the relevance of their assessment? I mean, they should be serious about the assessment.
No. A course teacher has to communicate in the class, okay, after every exam, okay, their performance. And
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Which course outcome, okay, they are very poor. You have to, okay, inform them.
Okay, sir. Okay,
sir. Sir, there is one more question.
Please.
Do we need to attend PSOs too?
Madam, POs and PSOs are one and the same. Both
yeah,
are
yesterday you said that you have been added in your POs.
Yeah, I'll show you in the report. See here. Right?
Okay.
PO number 1 to 12, PSOs number 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah. Yesterday you told us.
Same treatment.
Okay. Sir, there is one more question. Is there any role of attainment in finding gap?
Oh, okay. You are asking a different question, which takes a lot of, okay, again, some more session. Gap identification, there are 3 levels in which you can identify the gap, right? Just for your information, I'll tell you, if you can register, okay, I'll tell you, every 3rd Thursday of month, I give a session through IUCEE. Some of you may be knowing it. Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, run by Krishna Vedula and many professors from abroad, right? And every Thursday, 3rd Thursday, okay, the event is coordinated by Dilip Chemburkar from Bombay, but he is there in Chicago, professor from Chicago. My session will be there, right? So there, if you attend that one, right, look at that. If you can register your queries here, right, you will be called for participation. You'll come to know, right? There we have conducted several webinars. Let me share with you the different webinars. This is the 28th webinar of this year. There are many things, okay, we have done it, IUC related things, right? Right? There, one of the thing, okay, we conduct all these things based on the participants' requirement. Look at that, right? Learning curves, higher order thinking, gaps and how to bridge the gaps, right? In this webinar, gaps and how to fill the gaps. This is what you were asking, right? There are four levels at which you can look: structural level gap, content level gap, mapping level gap, course outcome level gap, right? Attainment is nothing to do with that. Attainment doesn't reveal about the gap, right? It only tells about that one, how many students, right, have attained the course outcome, how many not. That's all. Gap is different. It is about the program articulation matrix. It is about the course content. It is about how do we do mapping and all. It's about the how do we write a course outcome. This itself is a one-day full session, right? So attainment doesn't reveal about that. It is a learning gap. Learning gap you can call it, but it is not in that way the gap. So any questions?
Manirosa ma'am, will you please ask your question? Manirosa ma'am.
1 minute. Sir, what about the indirect assessment of PO, sir?
Indirect assessment of CO is not required.
PO.
Indirect assessment of PO, definitely you will be doing at the program level, not at the course level, right? You have to do it at the program level by developing your own rubric, right? Asking different people to give their opinion, assessment on this particular batch, definitely. That is criteria number 7. But that is nothing to do with course level, course teacher, course level, attainment of CO and PO. They're all direct. Indirect will be done by making a surveys and all, interacting with the people, employer who come for the recruitment and all. Any training program you conduct for them, from there, again you do the same attainment and all, take it. All they become indirect. But course teacher, they don't do any indirect attainment at all. Right?
So the feedback we take from course outcome feedback should not be considered?
Not required, because when you're doing directly, right, why do you go for indirect? Because you go for indirect because direct not possible. For example, I come for the recruitment, right? I don't conduct exams, CO attainment like this, I do and give to you. I'll give my opinion. I'll give my opinion on different POs. Out of 100 students I've interviewed, I find that 50 are good in analysis, 50 are good in, another 30 are good in communication. Like this I give. Based on this, you will take it. That's why it's called indirect. Direct involves examination you do. Bitwise marks you have it. Computation you do, x divided by y into 100. Like that. There you don't do.
No, but normally we take course outcome feedback from students,
If you
like
take
how
it,
we understood the course.
now I'll tell you, the feedback is only their feeling. Why that indirect is required? When direct, you are doing it through marks only.
Okay, so it's not necessary.
No, not
Course
necessary.
outcome feedback.
Okay, there is a misconcept. Many people tell here and there that you have to take indirect feedback. You take it. Don't discontinue. Take it, right?
Okay.
But don't involve that in computation.
Okay, sir.
Course level, program level, indirect is required.
Sir, hello, sir.
Please.
Sir, instead of actually feedback, we take something called as course exit. That is the questions based on CO. So can that be considered as indirect mapping for indirect mapping?
Madam, in all computation, when you look at outcome-based education, the indirect assessment at course level doesn't make any logical sense at all. Right? Because student has appeared for exam, you have taken bitwise marks, you allocated everything. Afterwards, why do you collect their feelings and all? You can take their feedback, right? Whether question qualities were good, time given was good, level, will it helping you to prepare for industry, trends have been put into or not. This you can take it to restructure your course, not for attainment.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right. Any questions?
Vishal sir, please ask. Vishal sir.
You all participant can register at this particular short URL, note down that. And if you register, your queries will be answered. You put your query and send SMS to me. Your queries will be put into that one. Again, you can see it with another URL. And when you put that your queries there, your email, we will invite you for the monthly seminars on different topics. Next, this month, Thursday, we'll be doing on IQAC and academic audit.
Okay. Sir, there is one more question.
Please.
Tools are common for all subjects.
What is that?
They are asking whether tools are common for all subjects.
Which tools you are talking?
Which tool, sir? Okay, they mean to say we are calculating this OBE. So at that time we are going to take mid-semester internal exam, all these things. So whether all these tools are common?
Yes. Tool in the sense software tool, whatever you use, procedure, whatever you use, that is a common. But targets and everything can be different. Right?
Okay.
Assessment tool are nothing but the written exam, seminar, right? The course project, right? Then industrial visit, they are called assessment tool. That can be different for different people, different course.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Written exam is common.
Okay, sir. I think no more questions, sir.
If there are no questions, then shall I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Prathame, sir?
And participant, note down this. You can reach me at any point of time through this, right? And also, okay, this you can note down. You can reach to me at any point of time for any of your queries, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Right.
Prathame, sir?
I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, madam. You please continue. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, you screen, sir, Kasambe sir, please share your screen. Hello.
Please, madam, please.
Yeah. Sir, please share your screen, Kasambe sir. So, thank you. So, thank you, sir, for an enlightening session and interactive session on attainment of CO, PO, and continuous improvement. Now we really understood how to write the CO and how to map its level like L1, L2, LL3, even how to map it to the PO, that particular level, and how to write the report as well. So thank you very much once again from all participants and SPIT organizing team. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. I'll close this meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Participant, please join at 5 o'clock.
Madam, I have some announcement to be made.
Yeah, sir, you continue.
Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, today's session will begin at 4:30, as I said yesterday also. So you please join that, and thereafter there will be session by Dr. Ranganath sir. He will tell about course outcome design, and followed by that there will be case study presentations. I am very happy that we have selected 3 case study presentations, and they will be presented there. Okay, so you please join the session as Sheetal madam said, but please join at 4:30. There is one more announcement to be made that I have made your attendance sheet. Okay, and I do not find some of the names which are there in the